What's up, guys? This is our first video. You can call us the MMA experts, okay? We're pretty good at this shit. And we're gonna start with the
Been in
first,
this game for a while now.
yeah,
And
both bets of the game. By the way, this was a great card. So just want
yeah.
to put out there. And we'll start with the first fight, right? So,
Yeah, and let's start off with a banger. Alexia Thainara versus Bruno Brazil. Did not watch it, but it was a tough cookie masterclass by Thainara.
yeah,
Clear
isn't
decision.
isn't Bruna Brazil part of the fighting nerds? She's Bun. She's 11-7.
She's a fighting nerd?
Yeah, she's a fighting nerd.
Oh, dude. Yeah. No, she's the one that they never talk about. Yeah. It's like they always show all the edits and they leave out Bruno Brazil.
She's like the lone wolf,
Um,
you know?
yeah. What was her last? Ew, geez. She's been on a little bit of a skit. Oh, but she fraud checked she, remember?
Yeah, but she also got slept by Wang Kong, the Joker goofy girl. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she got slept by Wang Kong. Okay, yeah. No, Bruno Brazil is definitely good for the sport.
No, wait, wait,
One of the
wait,
best.
wait, wait. She did get slept by Wang Kong, but it was a pretty one-sided decision.
Wait, she didn't get slept by Wang Kong. Wait, no, this is not the girl who got slept by Wang Kong. No,
Okay,
Wang Kong slept out. No, Wang Kong slept out a Chinese girl, right?
yeah, well, Wang Kong slept Victoria Leonardo,
We're
whoever
big
that
Wang
is.
Kong fans here on the channel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are big Wang Kong fans.
We love Wang.
She's the GOAT.
Yeah. So should we? Yeah. I mean, this fight speaks for itself. I mean, if you're a real fan, you would watch this fight. There's no need to explain it. Um, so we want to go into the Ricky Simone robbery here.
Love this fight. But
Ricky Simone was brutally robbed, like he
what?
clearly won, but
What are you talking about?
they
Bro,
gave him a draw. I
Adrian
don't know what
Yanez
happened.
won this. What are you
The third
talking about?
round, Simone was clearly still in there. They almost stopped the fight somehow. They're trying to rig it against Simone. It was ridiculous.
Okay, okay. Enough of this bullshit. Adrian Yanez, nearly 30-27, this
Yeah,
guy.
I know.
On- Only lost the
No,
second round if we're being generous. I'm so
when
serious.
when we look at the stats, we can clearly tell like this is the UFC trying to muck up the stats again, and they just didn't want the guy Ricky Simone to win because he's been sneakily one of the best fraud checking fighters in the UFC. If we go through his
But
okay, go through
I mean, he can't beat the grandpas though.
okay,
Barcelos
yeah,
is older than my
Barcelos.
grandpa.
Okay, but Barcelos is hitting a second prime, so
Third
no,
prime.
in all seriousness though, yeah, no, this was a terrible robbery. Not for Simone, but for Yanez. Absolutely did not know what they were thinking out there. I
Yeah.
thought it was 3 rounds, all to Yanez. Maybe you give one to Simone, but the third round was clearly a 10-8. That was an absolute domination. Almost stopped it out there.
Yanez looked great out there.
And yeah, Yanez looked good.
I'm very big on Adrian. I think he's this should have been his comeback win, but I think he still has it in him to compete at just outside the top 15. He's
I think
looking
you got to
good.
hold your horses a little bit just because it is Ricky Simone. And I mean, Ricky Simone, he's an old veteran, but he's kind of towards the bottom of the crafty vets out there. And I wouldn't really rate him too highly.
I mean, Ricky Simone was ranked like 4 fights ago, so
He was?
yeah, he was 4 or 5
Dude,
fights ago.
that's crazy.
Yeah, he was.
Um, On to the light heavyweight bout between young prospect Navajo
Yeah,
Sterling versus
devious late stop
random
there.
NPC Brazilian Bruno Lopez.
Yeah, horrible late stoppage. Ref wanted Bruno Lopez dead. Didn't really
Mm.
care for it, but Navo Sterling, great win for him. First finish of his UFC career, and he definitely showed out for this fight. He looked great in all areas, ground, striking, everything. So I think he's definitely a very good prospect to look out for in the light heavyweight division, especially because light heavyweight super shallow. You know what I mean?
And yeah, and we're starting to see that with a lot of these prospects in the heavier weight classes. They don't necessarily need to be world beaters in order to like rise up in the rankings. And I don't think Navajo Sterling is coming out here like, a Teba Gutierrez and he's just winning first round or he's like Kevin Vallejos and he's just showing all of his talent in 1 second. But he's clearly outclassing these bums. He's showing he's a level ahead of these cans. But I'd like the UFC to make an interesting matchup for him. Maybe a guy
Moving real
like
fast.
yeah, I mean they can't accelerate him too fast, but maybe he's 2 fights away from a ranked opponent, maybe 1 fight away from a ranked opponent, low ranked opponent. Um, Zhang Min Yang, I remember he was a guy. He's similar story, like he had this really nice hype. He beat Lionheart. Unfortunately, that was a brutal, brutal
Brutal.
watch for me.
Oh my God.
He beat
Fetal
Pigheart
position.
and yeah, and and then he kind of just fell off after that. I mean,
I mean,
so
he got
yeah,
fraud checked by the GOAT Johnny Walker. So yeah, we're big Johnny
yeah,
Walker fans at this channel.
by leg kicks, which was weird. I mean, it was a weird fight. It was a weird fight for
They
sure.
don't actually
So I
check
don't.
leg kicks in China. I'm actually
Yeah.
Chinese, so I would know that.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then oh my God, this is another absolute
Big
scrap. No,
KO.
this actually was a good scrap.
Yeah, this was a good scrap. Big KO from Casey O'Neill. Gabrielle Fernandez, not too bad either. She was on a three-fight win streak. Beat Wayne Kong, actually, our GOAT. Beat Wayne Kong in her three-fight win streak right before this thing gets slept by Casey O'Neill, though. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Uh,
win against Wing Kong, it was arguably a robbery, but yeah, well, I mean, people aren't real enough fans to look back at that fight and really break it
yeah.
down in the technical aspects. But
Yeah, I
I
know.
was there.
Yeah, well, I don't
When I
know.
was in Wang Kong's corner, I was telling her, you're up 2-0, take this third round off and, just don't get too much damage, play
Yo, I
defensive
don't know
here.
how to say this, but she lost in the second round by rear naked choke. All right, moving on. Let's move
All
on.
right.
Moving on to the next fight. We got Marcin Tybura getting just beaten by a Walmart employee. Who the hell is Tyrell Fortune? Okay, Fortune,
Yeah.
cool last name. This guy actually kind of beat Marcin Tybura. I think
Yeah, my
Marcin
bus
Tybura
stop was late because my bus driver is being Marcin Tybura. I predicted this matchup to be like a crafty robbery. A crafty robbery where Marcin Tybura doesn't do anything. He loses the fight, but then he gets the win. And in fact, he did the exact game plan, but he just didn't get the judge's scorecard in this one.
I mean, he almost got the judges. Do you see how the judges almost got it wrong at the
Yeah, I know. Like, didn't they switch it?
Yeah, they switched it because they really wanted the Tybura Masterclass win come back. But we have a new heavyweight prospect, Fortune.
I
So
mean, this is a big blobster fight. I don't know if this is like do you really think like, I don't know. Whenever I watch a heavyweight fight nowadays, it's like, I don't think any of these guys are getting anywhere besides like Aspinall and
I mean,
Cyril Gaunt. Like these guys are low level apex gooners that are just going to be like sitting in the apex for
well, I mean,
eternity.
this guy's a 36-year-old prospect. We'll see how far he goes.
Mm,
Might be on to
yeah.
big things. And then
36.
yeah,
36,
next fight.
7 kids, yeah.
Bro, the GOAT Chase Hooper. Oh God. Dude, this
He's
guy
too
needs to
soy.
no, he's
That's what they're
too
saying.
soy and he stopped gooning two
Yeah.
fights ago and's gotten KO'd in the past two fights because he stopped gooning. This guy needs to get back on the gooning grind, lock back in, and start darsing people up, just styling on people. He should have won this fight against Lance Gibson Jr. This guy lost
I
to.
mean,
Okay.
the recap of this entire fight, you can just look at this page. I mean, looking at Lance Gibson, you can just see how much more of a man he is compared to Chase
Yeah.
Hooper, no offense. And that's basically kind of what happened. Chase Hooper, when he faces adversity sometimes, especially on the feet, he can become very vulnerable to damage. I didn't really see a lot of like, he kind of made this like wincing look, kind of, and it started to be the beginning of the end. And for Chase Hooper going forward, obviously he's got a big fan base, big Gooner fan base. I don't know where he is gonna go. He could be a couple fights away from getting cut, which is scary. But I'm a little bit worried. I'm very worried for the
Yeah.
Gooners out there.
I think he needs to take some time off, bulk up, and try to move up to welterweight because he's too frail for the division. He's 6'1". He's only 27 years old. He has a lot of time left, but he needs to lock in on like a strength and conditioning coach and start gooning again and hopefully get a striking coach going because
Yeah, maybe even a Gooning coach because at this rate he's seriously falling behind on his work. And the Chase Hooper that we know and love is like, a submission artist at the end of the day. But on the feet is just such a glaring weakness, and he's just not strong enough to take people down. So,
yeah,
Lance Gibson, he's showing to be kind of better than we expected him to be. I believe he's on a two-fight win streak.
one fight.
Oh no, he lost to Bobby Green. Yeah.
It was a
He
scrap though. It
lost.
was a scrap, but
This
if it
was a
was Bobby
scrap.
Green,
But it was a Bobby Green fight where Bobby Green kind of took over and just kind of showed him who's better. I mean, it was kind of like one of those master classes from Bobby Green that makes you feel like he's a bum, but he might not be that bad. He might have just been scared in his UFC debut.
yeah, 100%. Moving on to the next fight, Ignacio Bahamondes versus Tofik Musayev. This was an insane fight, first and foremost. But okay, actually above that, Tofik Musayev cheated his way to victory. This was
Yeah.
this was insane, the amount of fouls he committed. after getting dropped and nearly finished, grabs onto the cage with both hands to stop himself from getting taken down. And I promise you, Ignacio Balmahundes was going to finish that fight if it got taken to the ground. He would have
I'm
submitted.
not trying to be saying anything racist here, but you just look at his face. I mean, he just looks like he wants to cheat, you know? And
Yeah,
that's exactly what he did. The cage grab when he's about to get finished. I mean, one of the most blatant and abuse cage grabs I've ever seen. At least should have been taken a point because if not, there's a serious chance Ignacio Bahamondes could have ended the fight there. And honestly, Bahamondes, one of my underratedly most favorite fighters. I really love his fight style. I feel like he has in a lot of entertaining fights. It's kind of sad to see where he's kind of going with his career. Like at one point, 2 fights ago, he was really considered to be one of those next up and coming lightweights, and now it kind of seems he's on a skid. He needs another fight to get back into that like talks of lower end rankings. But good win for Tafik, but I don't even think that you can say that after the cage grabs.
yeah. Also, going back to what you said, this guy looks like he looks like a caveman, and you just stole his dog bone, and he's gonna go
Mm.
charging at you on all fours. This guy is a creep. And
I
didn't
would
this
not
guy?
let him around any single girl in my family or, yeah, he just seems
Oh
like
yeah.
danger.
No, he's not gonna go for your family. He's gonna go for his cousin. We already know this. But
Mm.
this guy plus he's like he's nearly 37 years old. He was in Ryzen for a bit, and I mean
This
I've
was
been
the
watching
caveman
this.
fight. This
Yeah,
is the caveman fight.
I've been watching his fight versus Orobai on repeat recently to cope with the cheating. He also headbutted. Uh,
Oh yeah,
Ignacio.
the headbutt was big. I mean, that was a big headbutt and it cut him open, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
really big effect on the fight. Although the fight had some pretty crazy visuals. Go on Instagram, you'll see it. I mean, blood everywhere, absolutely destroyed the canvas. Um,
Yeah.
you love to see that type of, imagery, but not with a cheater. And it was
Um,
kind of sad the way
yeah.
it played out.
I think Tafik Musayev should get someone like Arman Saruki on next or something like that. But
Yeah, I feel like a matchup against Ilia Topuria would be probably the most obvious for the matchmakers here.
yeah,
Brutal sleeping of, yeah, I would love to see him getting knocked out in his next fight, to be honest.
yeah. Next, Terrence McKinney, Kyle Nelson. Okay, I thought Kyle Nelson was gonna lose this fight, obviously, but I was actually kind of high on Kyle Nelson. He beat Matt Frevola not too long ago. Matt Frevola obviously not too good, but Kyle Nelson looked like this technical striker. But when he got in there with Terrence McKinney, he just looked petrified. He just saw
Matt
this.
Favola, oh, sorry, I was gonna say Matt Favola is just one of those guys though, like you can't really gauge how good he is because he had a point, right, where he was good, he was a ranked fighter, and then, I remember the loss to Benoit Saint Denis, and then everyone was hyping up BSD for being like this absolute killer. And it kind of was like we learned that BSD wasn't as, dominant as we thought he was. And it's just, we're kind of at that point with Matt Favola where a win over him is starting to mean less and less. And we kind
Yeah,
of don't really know what that was.
I
Although
mean,
McKinney did like,
Frevola
sorry.
did beat he KO'd Drew Dober and beat Jalen Turner back in the day. Two great wins, but he's definitely on a skid right now. He's 36. I think he's seen better days. But
Mhm.
going back to the Terrence McKinney fight, Terrence McKinney just had no respect for him. KO'd him in 24 seconds. But he landed a head kick on him. I don't even think that head kick even wobbled him. I think it just knocked him off balance. Terrence McKinney followed up with like 30 freaking hammer fists. I don't think any of those landed either, but Kyle Nelson was just like petrified. He didn't even know what to do. He was just like he froze up in there. I don't think he got concussed even. I saw an Instagram post from Kyle Nelson. He said he's fine. He was with this like little baby or something. He looks completely fine, not concussed at all. I think Kyle Nelson had more to show, but I'm glad Terrence McKinney got a win. Love that guy. He needs to get a bonus though. This is kind of insane.
No, I mean, I just scrolled down through his entire career because we know Terrence McKinney's got one of the most insane fucking, he never makes it out of the first round, almost never. And his best win, I mean, for SZM, he's one of the rising contenders at lightweight. Really excited to see what he's able to do against these top contenders. But he goes first round, win, loss, win, and they're all by finish, obviously. I mean, but brutal, brutal. Sometimes he gets slumped out and he looks like a puppet. Sometimes he just goes in there, marauds, and gets his 30-second TKO over Kyle Nelson. Kind of a crazy win. kind of expected at this point. You expect the unexpected with Terrence McKinney.
Yeah, great fight though.
Oh, this was an interesting one.
I love this fight. First and
Mm,
foremost, I want to get this out there. Mansur Abdul Malik is so overrated. Okay, I know it's great to it's easy to say that in hindsight, but this guy was a can crusher. He went to a draw with Cody Brundage. Okay, first of all, a draw.
ridiculous.
He beat Antonio Tricoli. Antonio Tricoli might be the worst fighter in the UFC. He's gone 0-4 in the UFC. Somehow he's still in here. He beat him, sure, great job. And he beat all these jobbers, finished all of them. But who are these no names? And then he goes in against a vetted striker, Yursi Belgari. This guy's 6'6" at 185. He trains with Pereira, he trains with Teixeira. And Yusri was a freaking underdog, bro. How can you get this guy an underdog against Mansour Abdul Malik? This guy Belgari just beat Azamat Bakoyev. Azamat Bakoyev was shooting takedowns on him too. He barely got any takedowns, and he finished the fight in the third round. Why did we think Mansour Abdul Malik was gonna beat Belgari?
All
Yeah.
right.
So I thought this fight was great. It was a striking masterclass from Belgari. He dropped him in the second round. Also, Abdul Malik's corner should have thrown in the towel by the third round. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
Um, to me, I thought just like I don't know exactly how to pronounce his name. I'm not a casual. I'm just Usuri. I thought, it's weird. He stuffed the first couple takedowns, and it seemed to really wipe the confidence out of Mansour Abdul Malik. Mansour Abdul Malik is kind of like these test experiments that the UFC has been running, where they just feed absolute biggest meatball cans you can possibly imagine to these prospects with some athleticism, and they try to run them through. They're doing this with the Teba Gautier, and they're seeing, how far they can last. When you go against a real striker, though, um, you can get fraud checked, and that's exactly what happened here. And definition of a fraud check, Glover Teixeira has been developing some decent guys. This is actually exciting for me, thinking about like the Pereira at heavyweight because. We haven't really seen Pereira's grappling, not to like, get off topic here, but I mean, Yusuri, similar background, similar time frame. Yeah, so I don't want to get too off topic here, but um, he trains with Yusuri trains with Pereira, he trains with Glover. He's in that camp to see where Pereira might be at. We've never really seen his grappling too much on display. And now that he's going to be at heavyweight, he might be tested by even Cyril Gahn, who, sucks at grappling, but in heavyweight, if you can take someone down, you can just sit on them the entire round, and that's enough grappling you need to know. Same thing with, a future Aspinall fight would be very interesting. Um, Belgari shows that Glover can develop some grapplers. His grappling, his defensive grappling seemed pretty solid today.
100%. Moving on to the next fight. Dude, this fight was insane. I How did I not know about this guy, Larian Douglas? This guy trains at Cub Swanson. This guy's a fucking dog. He dropped Julian Erosa like 3 times with just that jab and then just walked him down. This guy looked like Ilia Topuria out there. What do you have to say?
Yeah, and it was like he was finding the range with the jab in the right way, not trying to get too overzealous, not trying to swing too much, and then bang, hits him with the right shots. And after that, he just went into overdrive. And when he was finishing up against the fence, like I was on my feet, even though like I knew, you know, all the punches were big, but like he seems to throw with thud and boom. You know, like his punches look big and they land big and they seem to do a lot of damage. This is someone I'm very excited to see his next fight. Of course, every single UFC fucking prospect though, they win their first fight, they look awesome, and then it takes them 8 months to get their next fight booked. So, see this guy in 8 months, but how old is he, Larian Douglas?
I actually don't think he's too young. He's
I
1995,
think
so
he's like
30,
30 something.
31, 31, 31.
31. That's a decent age for a prospect here. I mean, it's all
Yeah.
right. It's like middle of the pack. Oh, this was this got me teared up. The last time I cried this hard was definitely Anthony Smith's retirement. Um, Michael Chiesa versus Nico Price. How'd you feel about this one, Russell?
This was like
A
my
tearjerker.
no, this is like my uncle fighting your uncle at the cookout, because they're fighting over the last glizzy or something. This is like this was embarrassing. I don't even know why this fight was booked. Nico Price shouldn't fight anymore. I'm glad he's retiring. Michael Chiesa actually still looks good out there, even though he's like 50 years old. He's on a four-fight win streak. Obviously retired, but that's actually kind of cool. This ties him for the longest win streak he's had in the UFC before. That which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but the win streak is fucking like Tony Ferguson.
Oh yeah,
Who's the other one? I mean, it's
oh yeah, Court McGee, Nico Price, Max Griffin. That is true. So
yeah, Oh my God, how did you? Okay. Um, so no, but this, I mean, people don't remember Michael Chiesa. An interesting story about Michael Chiesa is that he almost fought Khabib, because, and he could almost end the Conor McGregor, because Conor McGregor threw that thing at him, and it shattered the piece of glass, like shattered him, and he had to make him pull out of a fight
oh
that he
yeah.
was about to fight. And so that ruined the buildup of his fight. And also, he could have sued Conor McGregor and ended the Khabib McGregor thing. So Michael Chiesa, unironically, one of the most important people in UFC history. And then also, this fight was just so funny when you see these type of unks out there, like Michael Chiesa, Anthony Smith. We mentioned him a lot on the podcast because um, these guys have so much heart. They go out there, they look like a deer in headlights, and somehow you win against Nico Price. Nico Price is just the ultimate opponent for unks who want to retire well.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. Like if me and Nico Price had a stand and bang matchup, no grappling, because he'd probably beat me grapple. I swear to God, I could beat Nico Price in a fight. Current Nico Price 2026. I
dude,
swear to God, I could beat Nico Price in a fight. This guy's
Nico Price would bend you over respectively, but
no, bro. Come on, I'm beating Nico Price, bro. Dude, this
Nico
guy.
Price, underratedly awkward looking build too.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. This fight was all right.
I
So
mean, he set up the Robbie Lawler,
damn, bro. Look at his physique. His clavicles are insane.
I know it's like a weird build, and when he's fighting out there, yeah, he just looks alien like. But oh, so this guy's lost his last how much?
Four fights, four fights.
He won against, oh my God, he won against Alex Morono. Okay. And then so he had the Lawler fight, which was like, the beautiful send off to Lawler, whatever. And then he loses to Themba Garimbo. Oh my gosh. Wow, this is a fighter right here. This is where legends are made.
He's one of the fighters of all time. I'll give him that.
Do we want to get in the co-main?
Oh, the co-main was great.
Mm,
Okay, the thing was, this was one of the most brutal finishes I've ever seen in my life. I'm not gonna lie. Dropped her with
yeah.
the left hand, already out cold, and it looked like she spawned it on her back. Like she like went in like three times speed and just leaped on her back and submitted her corpse. It was so bad. It was like that was a great
Yeah.
finish. But I'm not gonna lie, Alexa Grasso still needs another win before she gets back in there with Valentina because she got dominated by Valentina not too long ago. It was one of the most boring fights I've ever seen in my life. Put me to sleep. Remember, it was when Valentina Shevchenko
Yeah.
won for 5 rounds at a UFC no J. But
Yeah, that was
Alexa,
pretty awful.
dude, when Alexa Grasso wins, she looks great out there. She is actually entertaining, but when she loses,
She,
it's a snooze fest. But yeah,
she does. Hopefully this is a more evolved version. Because when I was watching this fight, beginning of the fight, I turn on I unpause the TV. We're at the co-main. I'm like, okay, this is a perfect bathroom break. We go to the bathroom. Oh no, out of nowhere, I come back and Alexa Grasso lands a clean right hand. Like you said, corpse submission. This counted as a KO, even though she kind of like synced up the rear naked choke when the fight was getting sopped.
yeah.
Um, Macy Barber did this weird thing though, right when she got finished, where she was like pretended to be like devastated. It was like a weird thing. Like she was like looking up and she was like pretending to be devastated. I mean, she was obviously devastated out there, but she was like all the cameras were on her for some reason. They were
All the
like,
camera, no, she was out cold, bro. Are you retarded? She was like limp on, like she was a dead corpse, and the
no,
camera,
no, I think she was low-key playing possum out there for the cameras.
bro, you're retarded, bro.
I've been hit with
Her,
that punch before, and I know kind of how it feels. When you wake up from it, it doesn't take that long, and You know,
Dude,
the
she
face,
got submitted too,
the
bro.
way she fell is not how an unconscious person would fall, okay?
Yeah, yeah,
An
she went
unconscious person,
unconscious after the submission too. Bro,
her
she was
knees were
out cold.
bending, okay? She was flexing muscles.
Bro, she was looking
She
good for the
was,
cameras. Bro, come on.
yeah, so yeah, she was definitely doing something weird for the camera, like, and I thought, like, yeah, it was some chicanery. Um,
I
yeah,
don't know
Alexa
about
Grasso,
that.
like, who do you match her up against? Like, Verna Jandiroba?
To be honest, I couldn't tell
Oh, wait,
you.
no, that's the other fucking division. Whoopsies. Um,
We'll
wait.
say that for next video. Matchmaking the women's flyweight division.
Oh, yeah, matchmaking every single, and we're doing unranked fighters. Yeah, she
Ooh.
lost to Silva. Yeah, 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 okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah. Oh,
mean,
Silva's actually good.
Silva's next for the belt, but Silva's technical, but Grasso, I mean, Grasso, we hope to see we hope to see like some improvements in the grappling because like we used to think about her as like a marauder type of grappler, like someone who can get the submission and against Shevchenko the first time or the second time, I mean, when she won in that rear naked choke, um, it was pretty awesome, but we didn't realize how bad her grappling was actually. And Macy Barber is kind of one of those fighters where she's one of the cake UFC fighters where she kind of just gets into the Cape WMMA fighters, which kind of just gets into good, nice, juicy matchups because of that cake.
Okay, well, like also like from Alexa Grasso's camp, Diego Lopez, they all have that same style. They just trot forward like mm, mm. And
Yeah, I
they have
mean,
their
Alexa
famous
Grasso sometimes has a tendency though to should shadow box from 10 feet away.
yeah, they all do that, but they all have the famous face block where they just eat punches to the jab and stuff. The famous face block goes a long way. They all have granite chins and they have no wrestling, but they somehow, if they see an opportunity to go for the submission, they will leap on it. Diego
Yeah.
Lopez does the same thing. So, they also don't know how to cut off the cage. I've read about that before, but yeah,
Yeah. And they also, Alexa Grasso, I'm glad she did not implement the shadow TKO strategy where she tries to use the shadow from her shadow boxing 10 feet away to knock out her opponent, throwing air punches at her opponent,
yeah,
trying to hit her
100%.
with the wind. Um,
Alexa Ross was looking good out there. All right,
she really laid it
next.
down. On to the main event, Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer. A matchup I, how did you predict this fight going into it before it happened?
I had either Pyfer by KO or Adesanya by decision. And
Or which one
I
is it? You can't just,
okay. I was leaning towards Adesanya.
you were
I
leaning towards I was also leaning the same because did you not think that Pyfer was kind of like a tier below, like
yeah, I just thought
his,
he was it's one of those fighters that's able to just destroy all these jobbers, but just can't get his game going against the elite of the elite. Someone I can think of like he's like Ricky Simone, like we were talked about earlier. I feel like he would be that kind of fighter. Kill the jobbers but can't fight the elite of the elite. Joe Pyfer showed that he could. And Adesanya definitely looks like he's taken a step back in his career. I think he still has the same great offense. He looked even more offensive this fight. It's ever since the Dricus Duplessis fight, he's looked really great offensively. But
Adesanya looks like a shell of himself, but
yeah,
back to Joe Pyfer though, like I mean, he is a guy who misses a lot of his power punches. He doesn't look untechnical out there, but he does some technical things. He knows some technical stuff, but it doesn't really gel together in a complete game. When you watch him fight, you can definitely see like there's holes to be taken advantage. I thought, he's very heavy on his lead foot. Adesanya loves the low kicks. And that was working for him. He hit a couple big low kicks, even in the beginning of the second round. And there was a moment though, I mean, everyone talks about it, where you could see the confidence in Israel Adesanya kind of overstep when he started landing a bunch, and then he kind of got hit by Joe Piper's power. He shelled up a little bit, and he got too close to Joe Piper's range, started trading with him. Not a good idea, because Joe Piper is an inaccurate fighter, but when you can get him to have a clear target, his head's not moving, his face is right there, like he has some power, and he can seriously shut you down. So. Izzy, I thought was just being stupid out there, thinking, this was an easy matchup for him to get like a KO or something. I think Izzy sometimes fantasizes a little too much in the octagon. He's thinking about that highlight KO too much. He's thinking about the Pereira moment. He's kind of just turned into a bit of a sad story. I used to be a hater and now I just feel bad. Like it's a weird transition for me.
Yeah, I think there's something I want to talk about. I heard this John Jones interview from so long ago, but he talks about how some fighters leave their career in the gym. They take too much damage in sparring, and their reaction time gets slower. They start getting hit with jabs they wouldn't have gotten hit with before. I think that's the same thing that's happening to Israel Adesanya. He's taken too much damage in his career. He's had too many wars. He's getting hit with these shots with a beautiful face block that he wouldn't be able to get hit with back in the day, where he'd be bobbing and weaving, going back and whipping back that hook. You know what I mean? That those crazy knockouts with Robert Whitaker, they were amazing. He tried doing the same thing with Joe Pyfer. He had his chin out on a silver platter, and Joe Pyfer ate that shit up. But I feel like it was one of those moments where it's a Joe Pyfer, everyone says body cam off Joe Pyfer. I think this was a body cam on Joe Pyfer win. This was kind of like
Why
a
do you think this is a body cam? He definitely turned it off after the second round.
no, no.
You
I
saw
feel
the
like
moment where he turned it off. He took him down. He took his vest off. He covered the
I feel like
cameras.
this was like a respectful win.
You kept on hearing "stop resisting" in the octagon. You knew it was over. He was saying
Yeah,
"stop resisting."
okay. Go back to the fight. I think you're right. Like Israel Adesanya got too overzealous. He got too overconfident. He thought he was feeling himself out there. Then he used his face block and got chinned a little bit. Like Israel Adesanya has this thing where he doesn't get wobbled. You don't see this guy get wobbled, but you see him get hit with these shots and
See him get scared.
you see him get scared. Yeah, you don't see him get rocked, but you see him get like hit with these crazy bad shots, big
No, he
shots.
was rocked against Pereira. I mean, when he was getting finished in his defense, he was staring straight down,
Yeah.
he
Okay.
was
Well,
cross-eyed.
everyone else, bro. No one rocks this guy. He just gets even Joe Pyfer. I don't think Joe Pyfer rocked him, but Israel Adesanya just becomes like he's like, oh shit, and he's just
Yeah,
walking away. But he doesn't get like wobbled and start doing the Kevin Lee dance. You know what I mean? But
yeah, exactly. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. Pyfer definitely turned off his body cam second round. But
yeah, I mean.
bro, it's so frustrating, bro.
It comes back though to a bigger point about Israel Adesanya. This fight is kind of a career-defining fight to me, and much more important. Joe Pyfer had nothing to lose to this fight, and Israel Adesanya had everything to lose because it redefines his career. Let's go through Israel Adesanya's just as a little small activity this year. Just go through his career, right? He's been on the skid. We all know about it. He loses to Strickland. He gets all of his aura taken away after
Like
he beat
these are
Pereira.
those last three losses were not bad losses. Joe Pyfer
No,
is
I don't think the Duplessis loss is bad at all. Duplessis is one of the best. He looked good against Duplessis. I mean, he had that amazing third round, I thought, and he showed a lot of skill and grit out there. He showed that he could be still a top guy competing for the belt. Um, it's starting to be weird though when he's going against strikers and you're assuming, okay, he's gonna dog walk a Mavov, if a Mavov doesn't take him down, or he's gonna, outclass Pyfer, but he's just not able to. He's just simply not. He's lost a lot of his maybe his offense, but also his
I think it's
competition's getting better.
slickness, his slickness,
Yeah.
and just how, yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
But let's go back to his career though. This is where I find it interesting because obviously you got the first Whitaker fight, great win. Great win. Whitaker in his prime.
Yeah, everyone
Second
talks
Whitaker
about how like
fight.
his
Second
title
Whitaker
fight.
fight.
Well, sorry, you go.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say second Whitaker fight I thought was a robbery.
Yeah, people
And
say that.
no, I mean people say that because it is.
People say the
And
Yoel Romero fight was also a robbery.
it was, but it was one of the worst fights ever. So I mean, really cares? I mean, he got him doing the Diddy Dit box out there. I mean, Yoel Romero was doing a little feet shuffle. But he went to fucking war with Kelvin Gastelum, and this was considered an amazing win back in the day. When it's Kelvin Gastelum, I mean, this guy can barely make weight. This guy's losing to tacos. He's not winning. I mean, just look at his build, dude. I mean, he almost lost to Kelvin
Holy
Gastelum.
shit. Oh my God.
Kelvin Gastelum,
Dude,
has a
he's
YouTube
fucking
channel.
massive. Yeah,
I would
I'm not
definitely
gonna
check out
lie.
Kelvin Gastelum's YouTube channel,
Dude,
mukbang videos.
I love Israel Adesanya. He was the one who got me in the sport like 6 years ago, but I think it might be time to have that conversation where we say it was Israel Adesanya ever that good? He always had these favorable matchups. Let's be honest here. Okay.
Man,
Everyone he
yeah,
fought.
I'm looking at the most favorable matchup of all time, and he was just almost he got a round off. Silva got a round off him. I mean, Silva was 42 in this matchup, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like he's never fought someone that has the same frame as him until he fought Pereira, and then obviously he lost to Pereira. But he also beat Pereira. I think he used like all his XP like when he beat Pereira, you know what I mean? And now
Mm,
he's like a level 1 henchman again. But
yeah,
yeah, well, okay, well let's just go through his wins right real quick. All of his wins are kind of not aging that well. I mean, Robert Whitaker has aged well. He's still stayed at the top of the division. Obviously, he's on a 2 fight losing streak right now, but Robert Whitaker stayed at the top forever. Paulo Costa kind of fell off a cliff after losing to Adesanya. Love Paulo Costa though. Yoel Romero left UFC after
and
losing to him.
Russell, I want to ask you, like, when you started falling in love with the UFC, right? Like, what was it about Israel? Because to me, he kind of looks like Palestine Adesanya now, and he used to be Israel Adesanya, and the thing that I liked about him and started to, I did have a point where I really hated him, but the thing I liked about him was like he kind of had some like quirky, nerdy style,
Yeah.
that like kind of was like a little inspiring to us dweebs out there,
And
and
he had this confidence. He talked the talk and walked the walk. Now he
mm,
just cries about his dog and then gets dog
yeah,
walked. You know what
yeah,
I
and
mean?
like he molested his dog for sure, and that goes to the big point of, he was not going against these great opponents. Like he beat off his dog, he beat off Brad Tavares, he beat off Vittori twice. He almost lost to Gaslam, went to war with this guy.
Dude,
And
Vittori is so bad. And
Vittori sucks.
Vittori is the king of the face block. Okay. I'm gonna make a tier list of the best face blocks of all time. Vittori's at the top. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so
Vittori
bad.
mastered the skill for sure. Spent years training.
His chin.
Yeah, and he only throws a 1-2. So
Yeah.
he's one of the weirdest fighters in the UFC. I will say though, like it doesn't matter. I mean, I think it's interesting. Like when people want to talk about Adesanya, people don't say now he's like one of the greatest fighters of all time. He's not in that category anymore, but he is considered one of the more memorable, one of the most important for the UFC. I mean, he had a massive career. I think he still wants to fight, which I think is kind of crazy. Like he wants to go off on a win. I get that, but like he's got to face some bum. Like he's got to maybe honestly face some unranked bum, like where he can just get a free win and like retire and go off in the sunset.
Let's
Because
actually let's actually match make him right now. Okay, so we have Rome Dolidze at the 15th spot. That would be a great matchup.
yeah,
Paulo Costa rematch would be amazing. That he's at the 14th
mm,
spot. CLD 13. I think CLD sleeps Adesanya. I don't want to see that. Gregory Rodriguez probably sleeps Adesanya too.
that's crazy to say, Gregory Rodriguez. But it's also that Gregory Rodriguez frame hogs the shit out of Adesanya,
And
and it's
Gregory Rodriguez is like
Adesanya.
Gregory Rodriguez is like a Obama version of Pyfer with more power than Pyfer, just like no ground game. But it
I
only takes
agree.
one. It only takes one.
And
I think.
also, Gregory Rodriguez, one of these fighters, they're just the new age of middleweight. Bigger fighters, more athletic, stronger. They're gonna outclass these leg kickers like Israel Adesanya and Robert Whitaker. I
Mm,
mean, these guys are falling for a reason.
yeah, I completely agree. I don't think I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I don't think Israel Adesanya wins another fight in the UFC. I think it's best if he retires. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I even think a Paulo Costa matchup is tricky because Paulo Costa, like the first time he fought him, it was this weird fucking aura deficit loss I've ever seen. And it seemed like some crazy ass mental thing. He blamed it on the wine. In a rematch though, Paulo Costa's like style doesn't seem too bad for Izzy. Like it's manageable for Izzy, but I also think Paulo Costa can do a lot of damage because of that boxing.
And Paulo
Izzy's
Costa will go in sober this time. He won't be sipping wine.
tendency now is to like be in the pocket with people and trade, and that's not good against Costa. Like, yeah, I don't think he was getting another win.
Yeah. Well, that's the end of our recap. We'd like to see you guys next weekend for the next UFC card. It's gonna kind of be a bum ass card, but we will be watching that card. And
Well, it was Moicano versus Duncan, right?
yeah, actually, we need to make a prediction video on that.
Oh, we
I
can make a quick. You want to make a quick prediction right now?
no, say that for another video.
Okay, yeah. Preview versus. This is a banger fucking poster too.
No, okay, I'm just gonna say this out here. I got Duncan. I got Duncan.
Whoa. Okay, I got Moicano.
All right, okay. See you guys next time.